Hey Martin, um, I said I was gonna review a Demoreel, so I had to do it. Uh, yeah, sorry, I had to record your Vimeo video because yeah, to be able to basically have it in the player. Uh, Uh, One thing I'll say is when I watch a demo reel, I never do it with sound. So everything I'm gonna say basically is true for CA. So if you want a job at CA and more specifically on Total War, as an animator, then yeah, I'm gonna be able to help you out. I can say some, general stuff, but what I'm trying to say is if you try to apply for another company, what I'm saying might not be 100% relevant. So, um, yeah. So sometimes I do when I see like a really cool acting piece, for example, and I want to hear what they what they say or what was the animation or anyway. Sometimes I put the sound on, but most of the time by default it's just not there. Um, cool. So obviously you know your Demoreel, but I thought I would just watch it again. Um, right. So my thoughts are. Um, it's a cool demo reel for sure. You've got some nice shots, some nice ideas, and it kind of says who you are a little bit. That's, we always want to see who an animator is. But I've got some advice for you. I think, I don't know if you heard about this, but basically yes, I'm gonna rewrite it again because basically, well, actually I don't need to rewrite it again. I'll just speak about it again. Basically, yeah, I did a recording, but I didn't notice the recording was on pause. So yeah, that's that will teach me. So I need to re-record it, but that's okay. At least I will be more to the point. I hope. Yeah. So basically, this is what I said previously. Let me just pause that so it's not too distracting. Um, and it looks like Mika is presenting it, so that's perfect. Yeah, normally, so don't know if you heard that, but you should open your demo reel with your best shot. So that way, and it shouldn't be too long as well, because that way, you never know who's gonna watch your demo reel, and you sometimes people just like watch a demo reel, the first shot is crap, bam, they just close the demo reel. Like they think they know who they are dealing with. So you don't want to take that risk. Or sometimes someone will just watch, yeah, as I said, the demo reel and the first shot they will not like. So not necessarily that it's crap, but they think it's actually not relevant for their project or whatever. They're gonna shut it. So you need to make sure that you have a good first shot, your best one, you open with. And not too long as well, because that way people can just. Otherwise, if the first shot is too long, then yeah, yeah, you might have the same problem. And then second shot should be either your third best or either your second best. In which case you fill the rest with your average shot, and the closing is very important. You close with either your second best shot or your third best shot, if you depending on what you did for your second one. That way, you leave the demo reel with like a good impression. So yeah. The next note, if you can't read, I wrote edit needs to be cool. I said that because I think in your demo reel, uh, where is it? Yeah, here. Um, so I can see there's a succession of shots here with Spidey, Venom, and all of that. Here, for example, you throw the guy in the off the roof, but then next shot he's fighting it again. So I understand it might not be fighting the same guy and whatever, but you need to think about like the viewer. We are just so used to see videos and watch movies and stuff like that that you need to make sure your demo is smooth and is not confusing in any way. So it's yes, first you demo reel is to demonstrate your skills as an animator, but you need to make sure it's not confusing. And in that case, it is like when I watched it, I was like, oh wow, I didn't expect that. The last thing I saw, he threw him off the roof, and now, so you need to think about that. Your demo reel is also in a way an art piece. You've got some only the really badass animators, are able to just um, I mean, it's tricky. I'm not gonna finish that sentence. But basically, yeah, put all the chance on your side. Your demo reel, think of it as an edit or a montage or however you want to call this, and it needs to be as cool as possible. Um, Music doesn't necessarily have anything to do with that. As I said, I'm not watching it with any sound, although I'm a big music guy and I love like like a nice music for a demo reel. Yeah, I don't care about this in others, only in mine. Um, yeah, but yeah, you need to think of that. That's very, very important. So I hope you understand what I meant. Um, Right. So then, uh, what I'm gonna say is basically give you some advice. I think so for CA and for non-CA, there are some shots you should remove from your demo reel. Um, I think you can keep those, these as well. Um, and I think you should remove the mini Spidey ones. The quality is not so nothing wrong with your animation. I mean, or your skills or whatever. It's just like what the end product is like. I can see that the animation is not super detailed. It's not very polished. It's not very. So for me, it's like, eh, I could have, I didn't need to see that basically. So even if you don't have much things to put in your demo reel, don't put the bad stuff or the stuff that are average because you only want to show the work you are proud of and you think is good. This one, same. I think it doesn't need to be here. I understand if you are free. By the way, I forgot to say I have no idea about your background. I have no idea how long you've been animating for, or like yeah, what you do. But you need to yeah, yeah, you need to cater your reel for who you want to apply. So if your bulk of your work is add shots like this, then it's fine to have a demo only for that. If you are aiming for like for a company that is a bit more that produce better work, like more polished animation work, then remove those ones because they will not serve you well. So I would remove this for sure. Remove that as well. This. Um, I think Mickey comes next, right? Yeah, you can keep Mickey. I think it's not bad. And you can stick that with your acting in the car. This I quite like. I think it's looking quite nice, even though again the animation is not great. Perhaps there are some shots you can cut, like the fall here is not great, and I can feel that. Um, but it's quite expressive. It's quite nice. Here the same, like when they all pull, it's not looking too good. This not looking too good. I can see, like an arm popping here on the green guy. Um, the poses are not too great. So maybe you can edit that to. It's quite long as well. So yeah, um, that would be my advice. I mean, but definitely keep that right. Keep that sequence quite nice. And remove this. This I think is quite hurting your Demoreel. And again, think of what I said here. This is your last shot. So I think it's probably your weakest one, and it's you close with that. So it doesn't leave a great impression. So that's the first thing on Demoreel overall. I think that could help you. I hope it does. Right. So now I think your best bet is to open with that one, the one you chose. So it's great. But I've got some things to say on this animation that I think actually before we do that, I can speak quickly about those. Those shots, although they are cool, they don't say much about your skills, who you are. Mainly, trust me, I know Spider-Man is cool. I love Spider-Man as well. You can do a lot of cool stuff with Spider-Man rig. I've seen probably, I don't know, close to everything that people think they wanted to do, with that people wanted to do with Spider-Man. Same with what's the name with Deadpool. Yeah, so uh, if you do something with those rigs, Like you kind of, it's a bit harsh, but you kind of need to be aware of what the others are doing as well. So you need to pay attention to the other demo reels and see what people are doing. Because if everyone is doing the same thing, then kind of like you are like the others. And for a company like CA, for example, we are really looking for personality, and we're looking for good ideas and fresh ideas before anything else. So yeah, yeah, you know what I mean. You don't feel too original in a way by using those. So if you use those, like I'm not saying you don't, but you need to come up with like a really good idea or like something really cool, really polished. And here I don't see much. So like, for example, there's not much happening, right? The poles are cool and there's an explosion going on, but it's just they are just looking at themselves, then explosion, then they react, and then it's next shot. And even within that reaction, like I can see some stuff that are not good animation-wise. So, for example, that foot, which we can see quite clearly, and that pose, which is a little bit unbalanced. So, what I mean is, I feel like is gonna fall that way. It's Spidey, right? Spidey's never out of balance. And even though there's like an explosion here and the force going this way, he should make sure to fight. Like what you did with that pose here is quite nice. But take the hips controller and move it that way, please, because right now it really looks like he's gonna fall. And what I meant about that foot, basically so yeah, the force is going this way. He's pushing the force that way. So there's a lot going on, and the foot is basically pixel dead here. If you look at it, the pose doesn't change. He's on his toes. Trust me, if you are squatting like that and there's like strong wind or like a blast going in this direction, whoops, yeah, your foot will not stay pixel dead like it is. So even in that shot that is very simple and doesn't say much about you, also, yeah, as I said, there's not much happening in that shot. It's not I can see some stuff bad about animation, and so it's not great. Um, or like this shot, for example, there's not much happening. This one is very noisy in the sense that um, yeah, I understand he's being either, actually I don't know, is he being hit or is he hitting? I'm not sure. But yeah, there are some weird stuff happening with the rig. I'm not sure. It's not very clear, it's kind of like noisy. So yeah, yeah, your demo needs to be very clear and your skills need to be presented um, as clearly as possible. So if you show a fuzzy shot or a shot that we don't really understand what's going on, it's not going to be much helpful for you. Might not hurt you, right? But it's not going to be that helpful. So now onto this one. I think this one is your best bet to either work more, and I'm gonna give you some feedback, or either do a similar one. That's like top notch for CA. That one, if you ever want to apply at CA, that's the type of stuff we're looking for, or that will say about you. Because in those type of shots, we see your creativity, we see your body mechanic skills, and yeah, basically, yeah, it tells us a lot. So here, for example, I can see you are using a nice, like 3-beat timing. It's quite nice. Pum, pum, pum. This is quite nice. It's not regular. Three is always a good number. Like it just gives like the overall flow of the animation is quite nice. Then we can go into more specifics, so like body mechanic. Obviously, you chose a cartoony style, so the character is quite light. I understand this, but still, it's lacking some detail, and there are some weird stuff happening with your spacing. So it's always very important to track your arcs, and start with the hips when you do an action shot. So, for example, here I can try to quickly do this. So it starts here. So it goes here, then, oops. then you go like this, then like that. So I'm obviously, if you were to do that in Maya or in whichever software you animated it, you would have, I'm taking a guess here, would I be right? Ah, that's really, and then I think there's like a little bounce thing. Ah, I'm wrong again. So okay, so this is your basically overall trajectory for your animation. It's quite nice because you can see it's not the same. You've got, yeah, so it goes with your timing. It's quite nice. But few things on the poses. If that's your trajectory, then make sure your character follow. Well, okay, so that's not very precise, unfortunately, because like here your trajectory is doing something a bit more like that. Um, but you see, if that's your trajectory, then make sure your character follows that. And so on a few occasions, because that also serves as action line, right? And that's very, very important for action shot. So yeah. Um, Here, for example, your character is not really in that action line anymore. So I understand you start to transition. So I'm not talking about I'm not talking about this arm. I'm talking about the silhouette here. You want that silhouette to be um, yeah, in there. Oops, wrong pen. In there. Sorry, it starts to be a bit more. Yeah, just do a nice hot dog like this. Yeah. Um, yeah, so you need to be careful about that. Definitely, that's gonna help. Then your spacing within that is really gonna help you. So all of this I'm saying is like your hips. You start with your hips and make sure your key poses are following that trajectory. But then your spacing is super important because here, if you look at, so I recorded the video, so it could be that there were some frames skipped. It's possible, but I don't think so because when I saw your animation, I could feel that. So here, for example, see how he holds here. So first you've got like a jump here. I'm not sure what's happening. Then he holds here, and then suddenly, bam! In 2 frames. Oh, sorry. Suspend. In one, two, he's in completely. Yeah. So you like detail here. You like some keys. It's a bit too snappy. Yeah, and so it's the same going on here. You want to make sure that you're spacing, the good old bouncing ball, right? So obviously you've got some slowdown here, but then some acceleration here and some slowdown here, and then you can add some breakdown here. So this is really important, like equal timing for if you want to do something smooth. That's very important. That's only going to help. If you are in doubt, it's much better to do like not. I said it wrong. Not equal timing. I meant smooth timing. It's always better to do smooth timing because then you can just like chunk it out. You can just like like curve it however you want. If you want something snappier, then you can just like remove some frames here and there. But it's always better to go with something smooth at first if you don't know. That's always my rule of thumb. Um, yeah. Then I was gonna say something else. So there are a lot of things I could say on each of those 3 actions, but I don't want the review to last for 30 minutes. It could well be, seeing how much I talk here. But for CA, you have to be careful about this sort of poses here. That's not realistic, or that doesn't feel right. I understand you go for a cartoony style, but it's not great. You don't want to break the rig. Here, for example, I'm not sure what's happening with his right arm. It looks like the shoulder is leading, but the arm is basically dead, like hanging up there. And then the next pose is something, again, um, uh, yeah, with like a hyperextended arm. Doesn't say much, like detail with the hand. Um, yeah, so those key poses like that are very important. You need to make sure you really polish them, especially if you do like cartoony stuff and you have like people flying like he is at the moment. Um, yeah. So you see, even like how he falls, it's not very nice. So he would need to, have be in that line of action. It's always good if he looks where he's going. Similar with here, for example, here he's gonna he needs to be more focused. He needs to look where he's gonna throw. It's gonna look completely different. Trust me. Um, yeah. What was I gonna say as well? Yeah, yeah. You need some correct correct body mechanic and appealing poses. So here, for example, like I'm not sure what's happening. Um, you know, I mean it's clear, it's a clear pose, but is it an appealing pose? Hmm? What do you think? Personally, not so much. I don't think so. So you need to carve more into your poses, and yeah, because we're gonna look through stuff like that, like frame by frame. So yeah. Then for ideas and stuff, for example, here that throw doesn't feel quite right. I couldn't really understand what was wrong with that throw. I think it's a really awkward throw to be honest. I'm expecting that. Well, first when I see that pose, which that pose is quite nice. I see that pose. I feel like he's gonna do something like he did here, like a swipe. I feel like that's what he's gonna do, but he's not. And to throw something like this, if you try it yourself, like go in that pose and pretend like you've got a sword or something, or like just use a pen to hold it, and like try to throw it the way he does it. You will see it feels very awkward for your shoulder. It feels like you don't want to do this. What you want to do is like rotate your hand 180 and throw it like you would throw a knife or a ball or something. Well, more knife. Um, if he does that, I kind of have the feeling that yeah, it's always gonna feel wrong in a way. So my suggestion would be you could add a grip change. Grip changes are always nice because they you don't look lazy because you did the grip change. It's something it's something quite good to do. It's like it adds a lot of detail, and then you will be able to so your pose will change slightly, obviously, because y- you can try to preserve that line of action. So let's see what I could do. Or maybe not that far. Or it's gonna have a really chunky that's his thumb, and then that would be the sword. So kind of like it was gonna stab someone. You could maybe that angle is not too great, so you could go with something a bit more like this, you know, something like that, so that you've got a really clear silhouette here, you know, everything is very readable. Um, Yeah, you could do that. I think I would feel a bit better in my opinion. And similarly, once you throw it, if you throw it like this, you could have well, so it's hard because of obviously you don't have much time and the sword is quite big, but the sword could also go like spinning. If that's just a suggestion. I'm not saying you should do that, but yeah, I think there's something wrong with your throw, so yeah, I was trying to figure out what it could be. Yeah, but you see, even your land animation, we're gonna look through stuff like that. For us, it's very important, and there's no force. It's not pulling hard to take the sword back. If you look at it full speed, it's just bam. There's no effort, nothing. So we want to see stuff like that. A bit more detail. Yeah. So yeah, as I said, I'm not gonna go through everything here because I think your worst offender was that throw and the poses that you use in that throw, um, and the landing as well. I could say a lot of things, but I think the rest are quite okay. And if you get what I mean, um, I guess I could also quickly speak about jumping and stuff like that. You in and taking that example, so this leg is the last one to leave the ground. So it's always a good idea for run, walk, yeah, anything, jumps, whatever, to um, hold your contacts for as long as possible. So it's great that you did that. But here, look, the pose doesn't change at all. So the foot left the ground, but it's exactly the same pose. I'm gonna remove that so you can see. Exactly the same pose. The shape of the leg is exactly the same. That wouldn't happen, especially considering that you took the choice to go from, so that's the last leg to leave the ground. Um, sorry. And it's the you go from here to here. So if I had to take a guess and I see just that pose, if I see that leg here, I would say this leg was the one that left the ground last. So you need to, yeah, it's not a huge deal because in the flow of the animation, that kind of we don't really pay much attention to that. And if that works, that works. But yeah, you need to take smart choices. So, for example, I'm saying this because that's the last leg that is here, and then it's gonna need to travel all the way there. So if you want smooth animation, that's not gonna be super, a good choice, basically. Um, yeah. So really think of that. Really think of your line of action. Really think of the pose. You don't want look at this pose kind of make me think like it just has like a something attached here and here there's like a something and there's like a guy pulling him here um so you don't want that you want cool action, you want cool poses, you don't want to break the rig how you did it here. You want a rig as smooth as possible. You have to I understand you have to work with what you got, but yeah, you have to be really careful about that. Yeah. So that would be my suggestions. I hope that helps. As I said, I could go on forever and ever, but yeah. Um, I think if you keep working, animation is quite hard for some people. Uh, and more easy for others. Y- You just have to keep working on, and sometimes just a bit of a bitch. Really, you will unlock things really easy. Like it was gonna take a lot of time for you to unlock some stuff, but don't get discouraged. Just ask for feedback. Um, to anyone really, and try to watch a lot of animation frame by frame. That's gonna help you and yeah, don't steal, but yeah, just look at how when you see something you like, just look at it and again and again and again and again and try to analyze it, and that's gonna really help you. Yeah, asking for feedback definitely as well. So yeah, best of luck, man. I hope this is helpful. If it's not or if it's unclear, feel free to reach out to me again. And yeah, I can't wait to see what you're gonna come up next. So yeah, good luck. Bye.